and welcome here in Space Shack co-working space to our first Startup Talk. Today my guest is Elena Poughia, founder of Data Natives. Welcome here at Space Shack to StartupTV.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be the inaugural presentation or whatever, like video.
Yeah, we're starting here with the first episode today, and we want to talk actually about founding stories, what inspired you to become an entrepreneur, and also to inspire other entrepreneurs. What's like one of your biggest goals, what you're doing with Data Natives. So I read an article, I think you already also wrote this article where you wrote that you had like a computer in your parents' apartment since you were 9 years old. And was there always this like the aspiration also to do something in that space, or when did that develop?
So yeah, you did your homework. So basically, yeah, I think like I grew up being in love with technology. So like I was a technophile and really like love everything around computers and playing with, you know, pretty much like what I was waiting for when I was coming back from school was when will be time to go and do stuff on the internet. So I guess like I always had this connection with technology. When it comes to entrepreneurship, this is probably a story I haven't used, but essentially when I was like a kid, around 8 or 9, we started with some friends of mine. There was like a place that we used to go every summer where my grandmother took us, and we started like a little like pop-up restaurant with them. Basically, it was so smart. We basically made our parents cook for us, and then we sold the food.
So basically, the first platform you already.
It was offline. It was no technology, but the first platform that I used, like pretty much like shy steps in entrepreneurship. But I was always very artistic and creative. So actually I did study business, but I took another route. So I then moved to arts and history of art and modern contemporary art, start working with galleries, art institutions, festivals. And then I got into, let's say I got into tech and business and so forth. And basically, I sort of stumbled upon this opportunity. I founded the conference, but it was in the company that I did not found. So Dataconomy is actually not the company that I founded myself. I founded an events company before in Greece and another art publication, but essentially like Data Natives is my baby within this like bigger platform. But I guess like what happens with people who want to start things, like they're self-starters, you know, like they want to pretty much be the initiators. You know, you just have this creativity and this drive, and you just want to always be doing things.
And you already mentioned that you studied a lot of things with art and also worked as art consultant and stuff like that. And there's always this, I would say, like this a little bit hustle between art and tech, because like many people think, okay, art and tech doesn't go well together, but there is definitely an overlap there. So what brought you from this more art thing to more technology-wise?
I don't agree with that. I actually think that artists are the most creative ones because they think outside the box. So they are like, they do have a lot of other ideas and new ways of thinking and doing things. I worked predominantly with artists who did a lot of digital artworks, so they were either developers or designers, and they were a lot of the times questioning like, what does technology mean for us? Like, what is data in society? What about privacy? So even before like the Cambridge Analytica scandal, basically 2012, they were already like thinking, how will this impact our life and society? So I guess like for me, they're the first thinkers, and they're really like the initiators. Now with technology, I think like everybody, because it affects us so much, and everything that can be digitalized will be digitalized essentially. Like we are already living this sort of like life in between offline and online, and everybody has a digital identity, everybody has a footprint online, and everybody exists one way or another online. So, you know, and that provides so many potentials, either like in your daily life or makes your life easier in so many ways, but also like in business opportunities, you know?
Mm-hmm. And I also read that you said that there's like this saying also, data is currency, kind of, and it often depends, or it often sounds like a little bit unreflected, so that people just use it in a sense, okay, yeah, data is a new currency, but there are many different topics we have to tackle, and you're also doing that with data natives. One of your goals for this conference this year is sustainability and diversity, and that's a big thing that's coming up in the whole data sphere. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit on these challenges.
There's a popular saying these days that data is the new oil, is the new currency. Basically, information is right now how we're trading things. I think like on that note, is kind of it aligns with data monetization and data being perceived in a different way. I do think that data is powerful because it's information, and basically we are made of data. We are data ourselves, and everything that we do in exchange is about communication and exchanging data with each other. But for that reason, also I think that it's important for us to tackle topics that they're not only seeing the commercialization of that side, but also see how this data can be useful for research purposes to make our world a better place. And I think that now, like a lot of countries and around the world are sort of putting together a state of emergency when it comes to sustainability and the climate change, and that's why we also find it very important to talk about these topics and what creates impact. But not only from environmental side, but also economic side, also data for social goods, also tackling female entrepreneurship and diversity overall. So there are a lot of topics that we want to be as broad as possible and as holistic as possible.
It's a simple question, but not so simple answer. So why is diversity important in the field of data?
Diversity in the field of data actually is very important because then you have a diverse set of data. So you're not, if you're only collecting sample from the same person or from the same, type of people, like either it's predominantly like white men, let's say, versus like having a diverse set where it's like representing a lot of different cultures, representing different races, ethnicities, representing women and men, or maybe also transgender people, like represents different set of data, then you potentially can get to a more plural and diverse outcome. You can see like the same thing from different perspectives, or at least if you can't do that, you need to label that this is not the universal truth, but this is based on collecting a sample of X, Y, Z. So diversity is important from that perspective, but of course entrepreneurship is important because you get more different stuff happening, different products, different like people coming up from different perspectives, solving different things.
You already mentioned data natives. It's the existing since 2015, and it's this year the 5th edition taking place from 25th to 26th of November in Kühlhaus, Berlin.
Actually, even before that, we're going to have satellite events the week before. So we're going to be activating the AI community before with different topics around Berlin. And then the Kühlhaus is where the conference is taking place with more than 2,000 people attending.
And now when somebody of our viewers out there thinks like, okay, sounds interesting, but there's so many conferences in Berlin, so what sets you apart from the others? So what fields maybe also the people can learn on data natives?
That's a very good question. I guess like what the main thing that sets us apart is how niche the topic is. So of course, like you need to be interested in this particular topic, and you need to see this as a topic that will be important for you. And as I mentioned, like predominantly the people that come are either data scientists or researchers working in the field. The other thing that sets us apart is really that we are, as I mentioned, promoting sustainability and impact and diversity and topics that they are really coming from a different perspective. So it's not only about B2B, or it's not only about it's not a conference that is only focused on commercialization. We're really like putting data and society together, and we're really interested in topics around data privacy and security. We try that. We try to break the ceiling and really bring as many women on board as possible. Very much about diversity and generally like empowering and bringing marginalized communities wherever they are together.
Perfect, great. And when now somebody wants to come to your conference, how can they get there? Maybe you can advertise a little bit.
Yes, sure. Well, we can definitely give a discount, and we can have a ticket to raffle for your community if you want.
Sure.
So absolutely, yes.
Would be great.
We can give a pretty generous discount and a ticket to raffle. Yeah.
Good. And then datanatives.com or something like that.
Datanatives.io.
.io, perfect.
.io, exactly. Yes.
IO is the best. Also StartupTV.io, by the way.
Yes. Okay. Oh, awesome. We're on the same wavelength.
Yeah, then thanks, Elena, for
Thank
joining
you.
us to our first episode here at Space Check. And I hope you will have a great conference and meet inspiring people there. And we will definitely see us again. And maybe
we'll
also
see you
have
there.
a talk afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. A coffee afterwards.
Perfect. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks.
Bye.